Basically, I mean, in the first time in my experience of being a journalist covering a court case, a minute's silence was held in court, requested by the jury, because the details of this case are extremely disturbing and harrowing. I mean, the trial has been going on for 2 months, and in that time, we've heard about how Arthur was, denied food and water. He was made to stand in the hallway of the house where they lived for up to 14 hours a day as a form of punishment. And this used to happen every day, 7 days a week, over several weeks. He was also physically and psychologically abused by both parents, and he was poisoned with salt by his stepmother. Now, both his father and his stepmother are due to face sentencing this morning. But questions are also being asked because this happened during the national lockdown. Thomas Hughes took his son Arthur to live with his girlfriend Emma Tustin and her 2 children during the first national lockdown in March. And, this was a time when, families were told to stay at home, stay safe. Schools were closed, GP surgeries were closed. There was really nowhere where people would go where they might have picked up on the abuse Arthur was suffering. However, questions do still arise about were opportunities missed, because his own grandmother reported some bruising in April. That's 2 months before he died, to social services. Social services went and did a home visit and reported no safeguarding concerns. And of course, as a consequence, nothing was done further, even though the grandmother then sent a picture a week later of the bruising to social services again, but nothing was done. She also reported it to the police, but the police logged it as a case that was being handled by social workers. So a safeguarding review is now underway by Solihull Council to look into, can lessons be learnt? Could this have been prevented? But of course, as you've just mentioned, Emma Tustin and Thomas Hughes will be sentenced later this morning, and I will be at court and reporting on that for GB News throughout the day.
Yeah. What kind of sentences could they face, Val?
I mean, it's, significant for child abuse. I mean, a life sentence for Emma Tustin, and, something significant. I mean, they'll be spending years in prison for this kind of crime. I mean, the horrors that boy suffered. I mean, it wasn't just he died, but he was tortured before he died over several weeks. Again, like I said, this case is so disturbing. It's been quite a tough case to cover in terms of being a mother and a journalist myself. The evidence and listening to some of the recordings made by his stepmother, which were played in court, where he's crying, saying, "No one loves me, no one is going to feed me." Instead of comforting him, instead of holding him, she recorded his desperate pleas for help, love, and support. And it's just inhumane the way that little boy was treated.